Really excited for today's topic because so many of us have our kids home for the next few months and things are changing and we are on an adventure. And so I'm so glad to be able to talk about this today. If you are watching and you have kids at home, let us know in the chat how many kids you have at home with you right now. This is the Real Results Show, where we feature real health coaches and health practitioners getting real results for their clients and themselves. I'm your host, Piper Gibson. I am the Director of Course Enrollment for Functional Diagnostic Nutrition. And I am super excited to have Dana K with me today. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I wanted to connect for so long. We have been talking through email. And so I'm so excited to have you on and talk about this subject today.
I know. I'm so thankful that you asked me to join. And I'm really, really happy, especially to talk about this subject today, because it is no better time right now to start helping your kids, because there's never an opportunity to have so much control over your kids' diet than now. So
that is the absolute truth. You have the ultimate power right now.
For sure.
So tell me, what prompted you to become an FDN?
So my journey started many, many years ago. Obviously, I'm not American, but I am Australian, but I live in Seattle, Washington in the US. And my son was diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety at the age of 4. And we went through a vicious cycle of trial and error. We went on a vicious circle of medication, and I found myself in a situation that I knew I just had to get out of for myself, for my son, and for my family. And I really just ended up with this absolute passion to help other families experiencing what I was, because it was so hard for me. And it really doesn't need to be that hard for other people. And so that's really, really what led me to connect with functional diagnostic nutrition, but also continue my education with my holistic health degree and other multiple specific certifications in this particular area.
Yes. We have very similar stories. You know, we had issues with my son, and I agree, it does not have to be that difficult. So I am so glad that you became an FDN and you are out there helping the moms and the kids of the world.
Yeah, so am I.
When did you graduate from the course, and how long did it take you?
So I graduated in, I think, early 2018, and the course took me probably about 6 months. I put a lot of focus in on it, and I really wanted to get through it and learn as much as I can. But I was really, really motivated to be able to do the functional lab testing with my own child, and so that's why I was like putting major efforts. Everything else went on hold while I focused on that.
So how do you build your business or your practice? What are you currently doing?
Yeah, so I've got 2 ways that I work with families. The first way is through my group program, which is called the Nutrition Method for Kids, and that really aims at fighting symptoms with food and a natural approach, and it really takes the family hand by hand, step by step, through implementing a low inflammatory diet for their family. There are so many challenges that come up with implementing a new dietary approach with kids, where I tackle all of those challenges within the course. Now, there are other times where either the family has already implemented diet, or there are a lot of red flags in the health history that lead me to think that they need to go down a more targeted approach. And that's when, I may suggest that they do functional lab testing. And, obviously being an FDN practitioner, that's my game. That's what I love doing. That's what I love looking at, and helping families really, find those underlying hidden stressors that are going on in their child's body, and target an approach to try and help them fight those symptoms.
Yes, fantastic. How has the FDN community really supported you in your business and in your own personal health endeavors? Because we know that you did a lot with your son.
Yes. Yeah. Look, I mean, my son, when we started, we were on this, vicious cycle of trial and error, and now he's no longer on medication. He's doing amazing at school. I no longer get calls from school. I used to shudder when that phone number rang. That phone number flashed up on my phone, and I was like, oh no, what has my son done this time? But I no longer get that. He's no longer on medication, and he's doing absolutely amazing. So that's how FDN has helped me in my own life, but also in my own health. I used to suffer from anxiety, and so as part of the FDN course, I ran lab tests on myself. I could see what was going on inside my gut. I could really focus on that, building up my gut health, and allowing my neurotransmitters like my serotonin and my dopamine to really be able to produce what my body needed, rather than having to turn to medication. But the FDN community is just one of its own. It's amazing. I've also, as I mentioned, completed a degree in holistic health and multiple other specific certifications. But I have to say, the FDN community is by far the most supported and knowledgeable than any of the other ones that I am a part of. And also having access to the medical director program not only has built my knowledge immensely with running the lab test, but also it allows me to have another expert to bounce ideas off. Two heads are better than one, and so really I'm so grateful and thankful that I've got the FDN community.
Yeah. So if you guys are watching, one of the really awesome things about FDN is that we have a medical director program, which allows our practitioners to have access to lab testing so that they can help their clients find hidden stressors in the body. So it's one of the unique things about FDN. So that is really what our medical director program consists of. If you guys just joined us and you're just watching, make sure that you drop the word diet into the chat, and we are going to send you our healing diet guide. Today we are talking about kids' ADHD, anxiety, and how we can target that with natural approaches. If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat. If you have kids at home, we would love to know how many kids you have at home with you right now. So back to our conversation.
Yes.
Let's dig into a little bit more about your niche or your ideal client and who you're working with.
Yeah, so I really specialize in kids or families that have been impacted by ADHD, anxiety, sensory processing disorders, autism, similar disorders that sort of fall under that umbrella. And I really focus on helping them through diet. So firstly, really reducing the inflammation through diet, and then also functional lab work to really identify hidden stresses and dysfunctions. We're implementing a holistic and all natural approach to family health and wellness. And so my niche is really working with families. If someone came to me who was a 50-year-old male with ADHD and asked me if I could help him, I'd say, yeah, I can totally help you, but I really don't think you want to work with me, because everything I'm going to give you, the support I'm going to give you, is tailored for families going through this with their kids.
Yes, 100%. I am the same way. We specialize in the same kind of department, and I agree. Like, I think that one of the great things about FDN is that we all have our own specialty, and you can always refer somebody out if you find that they are not your ideal client.
Definitely. And that's what I have done in the past, and I will always go to FDN if that happens, and I've done it before, and I just niching down is really important.
For sure. So tell me a little bit about how you work. Are you part-time, full-time, in-person, virtual?
Yeah, so I am fully virtual. I don't have a brick and mortar at all. I work full-time in my business, and part of my business is made up from my group coaching. That is a group program that is designed for families with kids that have ADHD and anxiety, and then the other part of it is doing functional lab tests with the clients that need it. And I'm fully totally full-time. Business is going amazing, and I just love to be able to help as many people as possible. I have a free Facebook group called the ADHD and Anxiety Parent Nutrition Support Group, and it's 8,500 people strong, and it is just everyone in there so supportive, and providing that support network for people and ideas on how they can help their kids naturally is so important. And yeah, that's my business.
That is awesome. So I want to know, because we get a lot of questions about how you build your business as an FDN. So how did you build such a large Facebook group? I'm really impressed.
Yeah, thank you. So it's really been through, firstly, it started with Facebook ads. So, I really was trying to tell my story. People resonate with your story. And so when you're going to niche down, it's really important to really focus on that. You can't be everything to everyone, and being an expert in one area is definitely the way to go. And when you find that niche, you need to have a story to tell surrounding it. People are going to resonate with you if they know that you've walked in their shoes. So I think that that's a really important part in choosing your niche, because you need to be able to tell that story. And so I really started with Facebook ads in telling my story. Being able to get them in through, giving them a free guide, and, helping them join my Facebook group. But then from there, a lot of it grew from word of mouth. And so a lot of my clients have, posted in my free Facebook group, say, with their story, and that's just brought clients to me. And, I never knew that they were going to do that. And it was, when I hear stories from my client, it really, really makes me emotional, because this is what I love, and this is what I'm so passionate about. And when I see other families, stepping off that emotional roller coaster, it makes me so happy. And so really it started from the Facebook ads, and from, giving away free guides, and then, then building that Facebook community.
I love it. It's what gets you excited to jump out of bed in the morning when those clients are successful. So I love it. So tell our interviewers, our listeners, how they can get in touch with you. What's your website, your Facebook group, all of that?
Yeah, so look, you can join my free Facebook group. It's called the ADHD and Anxiety Parent Nutrition Support Group. That's one way. I am on Instagram at Our Road to Thrive. You can follow me on Facebook, my Facebook page, which again is at Our Road to Thrive. So I've got to say that in an American accent. Our road, I can't even try. Sorry, it's so hard. Our Road to Thrive. So
there you go. That's it.
So Instagram, Facebook page, my Facebook group, as I mentioned again, ADHD and Anxiety Parent Nutrition Support Group, or you can go to my website, which is www.ourroadtothrive.com.
I love it. Do you have a number one tip, tool, or resource that you have learned from FDN that has really made all the difference in your personal health, or as a health professional that you want to share?
Yeah, look, I think it's twofold. If it was for my personal health, it's really about, finding the underlying stresses that are going on in the body, and, building a protocol around that, diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, whether that's internal or external stress, and supplementation. And so I think that, for health, that is the biggest thing I've learned in terms of, a business and building a business from FDN. The tip for other health coaches out there is really to niche down. The sooner the better. As I said earlier, you can't be everything to everyone. So find that niche, find something that resonates with you, that you can tell your story, and niche down ASAP.
Fantastic. And we know that there are a lot of people out there struggling to get results with their own health, or even their children's health. Yeah. Is there a piece of advice you'd like to share with them?
Yeah, for sure. Look, I have to say that to start, diet is the foundation of everything. If you don't have a solid foundation when you're building a house, your house is going to fall down. And the same thing goes for your body. You know, you really want to be eating whole, nutritious, fresh fruits and veggies, grass-fed animal proteins such as meat, poultry, seafood, eggs, and you also want to include plenty of healthy fats such as avocado, coconut, olive oils into your diet. But you also want to be adequately hydrating. You know, water is critical for helping the body not only for optimal health, but also to help detox and remove toxins that are already there. But if anyone asks me what the number one tip I have, especially for kids, I will always say you want to remove the foods that inflame the body and the gut. And for majority of people, that is gluten, soy, and dairy. And this tip should always form the basis of any protocol, whether that's a medicine protocol or a functional protocol. They're really the basic tips, but then beyond that, I think you really want to look at doing sort of a food sensitivity panel and remove the foods that your body's sensitive to. So for example, my son was really highly sensitive to raspberries, but who would have known? Everyone thinks that they're healthy. So, you really want to remove those from these. I removed them from his diet so we could really work on focusing on healing the gut. Another tip, especially for kids, is you want to reduce the amount of refined sugars in the diet and use natural sweeteners instead, such as things like, honey, maple syrup, dates, things like that. You want to be avoiding artificial flavors, colors, preservatives, and MSG. And when shopping, you want to really choose organic, non-GMO foods where possible, but you don't need to do it for everything. Organic can be expensive and a lot of us don't have the budgets to be able to do it. So, at a minimum, you really want to follow EWG.org. The Dirty Dozen guide is definitely one to focus on. And then lastly, if you need to take it deeper, you want to find a holistic health practitioner to help you tailor a specific protocol designed specifically for your child or for you personally, but find someone that focuses in your area. So, looking at labs for adults is very different at looking at labs for kids. Looking at labs for kids who are neurotypical is very different at looking at labs for kids that have ADHD and anxiety. So find someone that's a specialist in your area.
I agree. No, that's one of the questions I get a lot because we both specialize in kids, but how different is it for kids than adults? So what kind of testing do you really prefer when you're working with kids?
Yeah, definitely. So there's 3 foundation tests that I use. I used to have a 4th one, but I now use that as a second sort of round of investigation because you want to try and minimize budget as much as possible. The first test that we do is a GI map, and that's a stool test, and that's looking at the state of the gut. It's looking for parasites, bacteria, yeast overgrowth. It's looking for some really important intestinal health markers. Does your kid have something called leaky gut? That's a whole topic for another day, and I don't have the time to talk about that now. And that's really one of the foundation tests. The next test that we do is a food sensitivity panel, but the one that we use is really different to ones that you can get online or from a doctor. I use a company called Vibrant Wellness, which do something called a food zoomer. And so a normal food sensitivity panel tests the food at the top protein level, but the problem comes is a lot of foods have similar protein structures. And so you get a lot of cross-reactivity and a lot of false positives. So the one that we do looks at zooming down into the peptide level of the food so you can get that 100% certainty, is your child reacting to that food? But the problem comes is if you don't do a food sensitivity panel at the same time as healing the gut, it's a vicious cycle. So your body, your gut gets these holes in the gut, and it's called leaky gut. And a lot of these food particles can leak through those holes and into the bloodstream. And the way the body's designed is if something foreign goes into the bloodstream, the body starts attacking it and starts creating these antibodies against it. And so anytime you eat that food, your body turns on this inflammatory response and it further breaks down the lining of the gut. So anything that you're doing to heal the gut is not going to be successful if you're still pounding the body with the foods that are causing a breakdown to the lining of the gut. So that's why I always recommend as a base to do both of those together. And then the final test that I do is an organic acid test. And this is a awesome test. It's a really good bang for your buck test. And it looks at over 70 important different markers in the body. It looks for specific nutrient needs, diet modification, detoxification pathways, yeast and candida, mold, and neurotransmitters, which are really important for kids with ADHD, and so many other markers. It's a really, really good test. I used to do an HTMA, which is a hair and mineral toxicity test as a base test, but I find that kids change and adapt really quickly.
Yeah.
So once we start working on the gut, you know, a month later, it's a completely different lay of the land with the hair and minerals test. So I find that if we need to go deeper, I will do that as a second round of investigation.
Yes, those are definitely my go-to tests as well, especially for the kids. And I agree with you. I recently kind of backed off on the HTMA testing just because I felt like kids just changed so quickly.
Definitely, for sure.
And you would not have been able to learn all of that functional lab testing if it wasn't for FDN.
Not at all. Honestly, as I said, I did a holistic health degree, done multiple specific certifications in other areas, and not one of those gave me the tools that I needed to have the successful business that I've got today. And I couldn't have done that without FDN. I tell everyone, you know, if you had to choose just one to learn, I would say FDN all the way. And it's not just because that I'm on the show with you today. It's honestly the truth. And I tell everyone it was the single most best thing that I've ever spent my money on.
And I agree with you 100%. You know, that's a question I get all the time. And I, like you, I have a degree in holistic health. I have a doctorate in holistic nutrition. But yes, I have the knowledge, but I could not help my clients the way that I do if I had not done FDN. And so hands down, FDN is the way to go if you want to learn all of these amazing skills.
Yep, definitely, 100% sure.
Every time. I'm so glad that you joined me today. You are like my FDN soul sister. I'm so excited to have you on.
Yeah.
One more time, tell people how they can find you.
Yep. So as I mentioned, you can either go to my website, ourroadtothrive.com. You can look at my Instagram page, which is at Our Road to Thrive. You can like my Facebook page at Our Road to Thrive. Or you can really start your journey by really finding my closed Facebook group where I share so many free resources and really help you get started on your natural journey, which is called the ADHD and Anxiety Parent Nutrition Support Group. Look forward to, you know, getting in touch with any of you. Feel free to reach out. My goal, my mission really honestly is just to help the right people to get through what I went through so much easier and so much quicker.
Yes, 100%. For those of you that are ready to become true health detectives so you can help others and yourself on a deeper level, you can schedule a call with one of our FDN course counselors at functionaldiagnosticnutrition.com/counselor. Or you can enroll in the course, functionaldiagnosticnutrition.com/Facebook Live. You can also drop the word diet into the chat, and we are going to send you our healing diet guide for today. Thank you once again for joining me. It was fantastic having you. I will be back next week with another fabulous Real Results show. And thank you guys for joining us. We will see you next week. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.